one wild card character among some staples is a good thing. Too many wild card characters and too few staples is a bad thing.
But Ghost Rider is a staple now, based on Legacy.
Is he, though? I mean, again, Thor, Iron Man, they've been here from the beginning. She-Hulk, long-term member. Cap, long-term member. Black Panther, long-time member. Captain Marvel, same thing. Ghost Rider is the new kid on the block.
I don't know. He had his woolly mammoth in 1 million BC.
Well, that was a Spirit of Vengeance, and we haven't fully explored that yet.
I think that's why he's on the team now.
So, let's go down that road.
Yeah, I would like to see some more of that. They just barely touched on that, and I would like
and
to.
they haven't done anything with that. It's
and again, I'm going to go back to, hey, you know what? DC did the exact same thing.
A little
They
teaser,
showed
and then
us some
eventually
teaser,
get back to it.
and maybe somebody is behind the scenes, writing out a script, writing out a story, showing it to the editor, trying to see where it's going to go, and then ultimately we'll see where it's going to go. I don't want to rush anything to the dance.
We had some teases in Flash, and in, I think, was there a tease in Batman? And then we had that whole Flash Batman crossover.
Right, but from the time Rebirth dropped and we saw Batman chisel the button out of the wall, it was 21 issues before we actually had the button.
True. Which is only 10 weeks though.
Kinda, yeah.
But still, that's a heck of a wait to have to get through Batman and the Monster Men, and whatever other build. The Flash going through everything that he went through in his first couple of arcs.
So this is Jason Aaron and Ed McGuinness.
Too, so.
Yeah, which is so far so good. But man, that book is going to be a slow burn.
Oh, yeah, that's what it feels like. But it's had some good shocking moments too. Comedian and Rorschach.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying that it hasn't been good, but it's going to be, going to be slow.
It's going to be a 12
and it's going to be,
Yeah.
like you are competing with the attention span of your reader base by making it take that long for the next installment to come out, hoping that your reader base hasn't lost interest. I have seen other good books, bear in mind I was doing this in the 80s and the early 90s, and I have seen dedicated fans lose interest in a bi-monthly book because it just takes too long and shift over to a book that comes out once a month. Not all,
right,
but a good many.
I don't know. I feel like this one's gonna stay just because of the
subject matter.
The subject matter and just the gravity of
the
Doomsday
lasting
Clock
effects
with the Watchmen and the lasting effects on the DC universe and everything.
Well, let's see what happens. Let's see who ends up having a greater impact on who. I mean, I've brought up my points about the Watchmen universe and the DC universe, and I don't know. I kind of feel like, maybe we're not going to address some of these points. At some point, I feel like it'll be necessary for Dr. Manhattan to meet Lucifer, so Lucifer could say, "You didn't create me." That Dr. Manhattan is going to meet Morpheus and Death and the other Endless, so they can look at him and go, "You're really very small."
So
I would like to see that.
When
I would
was
too. That would be awesome.
When I was in middle school, I read these novels called Dragonlance, and and
One of the Weiss and Hickman.
Yeah, one of the.
I also read those things.
They got to this part where they introduced this character named Mina, and what happened was the evil Dragon Queen Takisas literally stole the world from everyone and except thought she was the only god there. So it's possible that could be something that Manhattan did, and then Lucifer just doesn't know who he is, or he's not tapped into maybe his power source. Although he is, he's in Etrigan, he's in prison, so he's not even the ruler of hell right now.
Sure.
So.
But if you are going to acknowledge Lucifer, then you're going to acknowledge the other side. And at
I
some
think he's
point,
in here multiple
Dr.
times.
Manhattan's going to have to meet the
multiple
Specter.
Oh, he's right there. Yeah, because
for sure.
And at some point, we're going to have
Or
that,
the anti-monitor.
that super cosmic heavyweight, the Specter, who dabbles in that hocus pocusy realm of magic. That magic that trumps science, because it's literally supernatural.
Yeah.
So Dr. Manhattan is going to be moving quarks and gluons and neutrons, and the Spectre is just going to be snapping his fingers and putting everything back, and Dr. Manhattan's head is going to explode because he is like, "That's not how reality works." The Spectre says, "Reality works the way I want it to." That's the Spectre, and that is not the realm Dr. Manhattan comes from. and everybody else. Yes, Ozymandias caught a bullet. I'm pretty positive that Bronze Tiger could catch a bullet. I'm
Chris
sure that
Angel's
Lady
caught a
Shiva
bullet.
could. Well, I'm speaking of the
Oh, well,
DC.
I mean, like in real life. I thought you were talking about like real life.
Well,
No.
sure, but here, along comes Ozymandias,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Richard
how
Dragon will
long
probably
are you
do-
going to last against Bronze Tiger?
Yeah.
How long are you going to last against Lady Shiva? How long,
Yeah.
I'd like to see you fight the Sensei.
Exactly.
And,
yeah.
Well, he
and
almost
Bra-
just got beat up by the comedian, so I mean, technically he did.
So,
Yeah, although we kind of blindsided him. No one really saw that coming anyway. So
Right.
yeah, but that does raise the question though: if Dr. Manhattan didn't or didn't create the whole DC universe, that raises the question: is if like with Specter, the right hand of God, did one god create like Zeus and all these other gods, or was it the Endless who created this god, or what's the deal with all that?
we've kind of.
Like how does one god like if Zeus and like Yahweh actually met? It's like you didn't create me and I didn't create you.
They're probably nested in some way.
There's a pecking order, and
So is it like endless God, Zeus?
Well, it's God and the Specter, and then the Endless, and then everything else, and then Lucifer kind of on the bottom end going the other way. Lucifer gave his powers up when he gave up hell, but having not done that, Lucifer would be also ludicrously powerful.
Because he's
and they maintain that pecking order. Now,
Full Belial's is
your planar
giant,
gods, your chthonic gods, planar gods, etc. So you have Zeus. Zeus's power is rooted very, very physically.
well, he's dead.
But if he wasn't, I'm saying,
yeah,
and
in DC.
yeah. Darkseid just murdered him.
DC had their old gods, which would have been the Norse gods,
Right.
Who destroyed each other in Ragnarok and gave birth to New Genesis and Apocalypse. Okay, Darkseid is the new evil god, but he is not on God or Satan's level of power magnitude.
Right.
So, at some point, there's a nesting, there's a pecking order. Dr. Manhattan probably fits in here somewhere, but not at either one of the two extremes.
So do you think Belial could defeat Darkseid right now?
I wouldn't even begin to... With Darkseid rebuilding his power, I couldn't give an estimate as to where his power level is. Certainly, with some of these characters, Dr. Manhattan notwithstanding, where Darkseid's power has been portrayed somewhat inconsistently over the years, his Jack Kirby appearances being different from his Justice League appearances, and then in the Legion of Superheroes, he is significantly more powerful.
Yeah, he is, man. He's jacked.
Oh my God. But then, even then, as he was waking up, he was stealing the mystic...